Hello and welcome to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show. That's 520-790-2040. It's your free hour of tech support. It's what, it's a great way to get your problems solved. Tara is not here, but we have a replacement.
Yes, I'm the replacement part.
Yeah, Rob is the replacement. He is the pod person for Tara this week.
I get called in like at the last minute, and I'm like, I guess I have a job to do.
That's right. There is a vacancy in the studio. Work is to be done.
What's that? Someone needs an obnoxious joke? Away!
All right. So give us a call, 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show. And, first I have to issue an apology. Because I guess I had a nerve, and I understand that I'm it's a joke most of the time where I'm just kind of like messing around with KVOI.
But Mike, in every joke, there's a grain of truth. And you're hurting people's feelings.
I'm trying not to hurt people's feelings. The internet is working wonderfully today.
It's beautiful internet, actually. It's best internet.
And it was actually working okay last week, mostly. And I think that it's not the internet's fault. It's that we're probably looking for things that are in violation of their firewall.
It's glorious, supreme internet.
So my apologies to KVOI. But you got to be nice. It lets me on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't go on Facebook though, so.
Yeah, you don't have a Facebook account.
Not at all. At all. Not even a troll one anymore.
Huh. Let's talk about Facebook for a minute.
Yeah, they're kind of in the news right now.
So Mark Zuckerberg. Let's just go ahead and do the most surprising part to me. Fourth richest person in the world right now?
I literally did not believe you when you told me that. We had to look it up to make sure. He is now the fourth richest person in the world.
All for wasting time.
Yeah, literally.
A lot of time. How much time is wasted on the Facebook?
What was the number that they even gave? It worked out to like 700,000 years a day is what the collective world wastes on Facebook. Something crazy like that. 55
million years, I think, was the...
Since Facebook
has been started, there's been a collective and aggregate 55 million years wasted on Facebook.
And it's a lot of money and productivity because certain people in certain offices are using Facebook when they shouldn't be.
There's a lot of social media stuff that's happening when it shouldn't be. Just throw that out there.
To the tune of trillions of dollars, apparently.
Yeah, so if you wonder why there's a Facebook block at your office, that's why. Because even 20 minutes a day, because that's what they're saying, is there's people average 20 minutes a day on Facebook. And they have, what'd they say, 1.3 billion active users per month.
Yeah, active, not just accounts, because that was another thing that we discussed. That's how many people are actually logging into Facebook in a month period.
1.3 billion people spending 20 minutes a day.
It's a lot of time.
Holy moly. That's a lot of waste. It's a ton of waste. And that's why Zuckerberg is the fourth richest person in the world right now.
Built on an empire of time wasting. I like it.
That's right. Let's just go ahead and throw some commercials at you. Just some ads. And I have to admit, Facebook is pretty good about putting those ads in there in a not totally obnoxious way.
I wouldn't know.
All right. So, yeah, you wouldn't.
No.
Facebook has this way of just putting them in there like this is a message from your friend, sort of.
Yeah, we have zombified your friend's picture so that we can pretend that he...
It's not like that. But it says, hey, it's sponsored, but it's not like they do this thing where it pops up in front of everything, or like those videos that push the website down, or any of that stuff. They're well placed, I have to admit.
Most of the time I actually don't mind ads as long as they're not intrusive and obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like if they're just a little sidebar ad and it doesn't play a video that screams at me or something, I'm okay with it.
There are some rules against, there's netiquette.
Yeah.
Right, as far as how you should build your website. And your website should not have obnoxious music or videos that autoplay.
I think what happens most of the time is people build a website and then they think about ads last. So then the ads get kind of just tossed in wherever they can go.
Right.
When really, if you're building a site for ad revenue, you should build the site around the ads so that it works with them and doesn't make your users super angry.
I don't know, maybe plan for it?
Right. Take that into account, maybe.
Weird. Totally weird.
Crazy talk.
Yeah, it's just total crazy talk.
Can't be doing that. Can't be thinking about things.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, nobody got time for thinking. None of it. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of wasted time in Facebook, and
I bet Zuckerberg doesn't think it's wasted time.
no, he doesn't. It's amazing though that it's these little teeny tiny numbers, right? Where each user on Facebook is worth like $2 to Facebook per month.
But I mean, that's when you have, what was it, 1.9 billion?
1.3 billion.
1.3 billion active users.
Right, making $2 and change for you every month.
That's a lot of
ad
money.
revenue. Yeah, that's a ton of money. Man, that's just awesome.
What a revenue stream.
I mean, I'm jealous. I have to admit, of the Zuckerberg.
It's almost not even. I'm jealous of like 1% of his net worth. Not even the whole thing. You know, I'd be happy with 1%.
That would be nice. But just, to think of it, to come up with this idea, he's like, hey, let's just make it so people can, I don't know, look at other people and waste a little bit of time and then turn yourself into a multi-billionaire.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I think overall the internet is used mostly for looking at other people in one way or another.
I guess, but I mean, he was sort of, he's like, I don't like the MySpace. Let's make something better. And he did. And kudos to Zuckerberg for that, I guess. But, man, that's pretty impressive stuff. The ability to make billions of dollars just wasting other people's time.
I just wonder if this is the peak and it's downhill from here for Facebook, or
Well,
if
they've
they're...
been saying that for years, though.
Yeah, that's true.
He always manages to come up with another way.
Some crazy new way.
Some crazy new way, yeah. It's not a waste of time, though. Our sponsor. You can take your car down to Perfection Auto Works. Go see Mike down there. Get a 26-point inspection for free. Totally for free. And, of course, you got to call and schedule it because they're very, very busy people down there working on all kinds of cars. So check out perfectionautoworks.com. You can give them a call, visit them, listen to their ad. It's coming up next right here on the Computer Guru Show. We'll be right back.
Computer troubles? Need some advice? Call in now. Mike Swanson will be back after these messages. The Computer Guru Show, AM 1030, KVOY, The Voice. Your technology guru, Mike Swanson, is answering all your questions one by one.
Yes, science!
So chime in with yours. The website is gurushow.com. Tune in, click in, and kick back. This is the Computer Guru Show.
Welcome back to the Computer Guru Show. My name's Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show here. So we're going to talk about Google here in a second, but I wanted to mention that there's an infection that's out there in the wild that we've seen over the last month or so, month and a half, where it is specifically attacking banking information. And it does it in such a way that is really, really effective as far as we've actually seen money disappear out of people's accounts. And the bank says, well, yeah, it came from your computer. So there are... It's something that you should really be careful of and make sure that you have a decent antivirus that will catch these types of things. And if you need some help with that, you should give us a call at Computer Guru. Phone number is 304-8300. We were happy to help you out with that type of thing. We want to make sure that you are kept safe. And we have all kinds of packages to make sure that you are safe all the time. So ask about the GPS program, which is Guru Protection Services. We have different plans for different types of people and different situations to make sure that all of your data is safe all the time and you don't have to worry about this type of stuff. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of threats that are out there that are trying to take advantage of you, take your money. And when $250,000 disappears out of a bank account, like one customer had, that's why they called us. They were like, hey, guess what happened? We need your help. And then we went down and secured it. No reoccurrences. So that's how it works.
I miss the days of the viruses that just kind of messed with you a little bit rather than try to destroy your life. Like Lose. Remember that virus?
Yeah. There was one that way back in the day that was called Yankee Doodle. Do you remember that? Kent?
I do not.
Rob wasn't alive.
Not specifically.
I wasn't even alive yet. So.
I don't think Rob was alive when Yankee Doodle came out. It was one of the first PC viruses. And as malicious as it got was that it started playing the Yankee Doodle Dandy song through the PC speaker randomly.
That's awesome.
That's all it did.
I actually might install that on my machine. That's just hilarious.
It was the good old days when the viruses weren't so mean.
Yeah, they just mess with you a little bit.
Just
make your life more interesting.
You could make it a marketing thing. Just install it on customers' computers randomly, and then if it happens, call in and you win something.
There you go.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Okay, well,
Just saying, we're not doing that.
Did you hear?
I mean, you can do that. You can do that. Your day job there, Kent, if you want.
yeah, that won't go over too well.
You get a free support call from Kent if that's the case.
Well, just here and there, you know.
All right, so let's talk about Google,
Anyway.
Google and Google Fiber for a minute.
Yeah, we still don't have Google Fiber here, but the cool thing is that some people who really can use internet access are going to be getting it soon.
Yeah, so in Kansas City?
Yeah, they're starting there in Kansas City.
Which was the first rollout for Google Fiber anywhere. They're going to select different types of housing projects and basically say, here's some free internet for everyone. And that's nice, right? Because even though Google has offered the free 5 megabit plan, as long as you pay for the hardware, you get free internet forever.
Yeah, it's just a little upfront cost for buying the hardware.
All right, well, Google's received given some grief that says, well, you're still not helping out the poor here because how are they going to come up with $300 or $350 for the hardware
Right.
to make this happen? So Google's response is, fine, we will just find groups of people that really need some internet and we'll just give it away for nothing.
And they're planning on doing it in all of the 28 cities that Google Fiber is in right now.
Right.
They're just testing it in Kansas City for now.
That's a good test bed, I think.
Yeah.
It's about 5 megabit plans for free. I mean, that's awesome.
I mean, when it rolls out, it's expected that up to 200,000 children are going to have access to internet who didn't have it before.
And that's one of those things where, especially now, schools are requiring so much of your child to be on the internet. Whereas most of the schools now are basically renting you Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Right. So you can do your homework and everything is Google centric. You're not doing anything without internet on any of those things.
Yeah, I mean, it gets taken for granted nowadays because it's such an integral part of most of our lives, but there are people out there who don't even have that.
Right. And there really needs to be, in my opinion, we complain a lot about internet companies. Like last week, it was all CenturyLink, in my opinion. It's my disclaimer, right? This is my opinion. Please don't sue me. We complain a lot about them because there is a little too much of that. Oh yeah, you really have a choice when you really don't.
Right.
Because all of the internet companies are like, yeah, we compete. We compete with you don't compete with anyone. That's like the cable companies do not compete.
They compete with my patience most of the time, and that's about it.
And if you are anywhere, at least in this area in Tucson, you cannot get the two companies to compete with one another. I mean, it just doesn't work. You can't get Comcast and Cox to be like, yeah, which one of you is going to offer me the better deal? And they're like, well, where do you live?
Do you live on this side of the road or this side of the road?
Right. Now, I live on River Road.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. On one side of River, it's Cox. On the other side, it's Comcast. And it's baloney. It really is.
Malarkey even.
Yes, I'm willing to say that there are too many shenanigans, and there's lots of malarkey happening.
There's just some hijinks going on.
Jinkies. Anyway, it would be nice if we could get some legislation that forced the cable companies to compete with one another. Now, the only company so far that has managed to compete with the cable companies in any remarkable way is Google Fiber.
And the cable companies are just straight up terrified of Google Fiber at this point because it's not even a contest.
Right, it's not.
It's like, oh, I can pay less and get literally 10 times the speed. I wonder which I'll choose.
Right. So last week we were joking around with, I was sort of laying out what it costs me for internet at my offices. So to give a more specific number, I spend almost $800 a month for internet between all of the locations. And that doesn't include anything else that goes along with it, but between the three locations, $800 a month.
Just to have internet access.
Just to be able to get on the internet at the appropriate speeds for what I have to do. So if and even if I were to add all of those speeds up, right?
That's true.
If I were to take all three locations and say, well, I get 300 megabits at one location, I get 100 megabits at another, and 150 at the third. If I add all of those up, it still is about half
Yeah.
of what I would get with one single Google Fiber account. Now, that's just on the downside. Let's say the up speed, because Google Fiber is synchronous. It's a gigabit up also. So let's see, up speeds I get 35, 25, and 15.
Wow. So not even a tenth almost
Yeah, not even a tenth
of the upload speed.
of the upload speed. And let's say I take my $800 a month and turn it into $80 a month. Yeah, I wonder what would I do? No wonder the cable companies are terrified.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other part of this that makes me angry to think about. Because you hear all the time about Comcast lobbying Congress saying, well, we won't be able to stay profitable. We won't be able to, compete at these rates. Here's the deal. Google Fiber has not lost a dime. The company is actually profitable. Not by much, right? But the company is profitable at providing gigabit synchronous connections at $80 a month.
The other side of it is just like, honestly, Comcast, I weep for you. I'm so sad that you can't be profitable at that. I'm pretty sure that the carriage making companies went out of business when cars came around.
Right.
This is the state of the industry, and if they want to be in it, it's up to them to compete.
Right. They can go to fiber.
Yeah, easily.
Right. And the thing is that Google Fiber is profitable even though they're building infrastructure at the same time. All right. It's not like they have this existing infrastructure like the cable companies do, that they're just able to just, lower the prices and turn the speed up. Because the cable companies can, right? Yes, they have to do some upgrades if they want to use copper like they're doing now, right? As far as being able to send any type of very fast internet over coaxial cable, right? So they need to go fiber at some point if they want to be able to do this really efficiently. However, being able to, when I hear about customers every day, right, where they're paying, well, I'm paying $85 a month for a 100 megabit connection. Well, why does that need to cost $85 a month? It shouldn't, right? They are doing their part to keep children from being able to get on the internet because people can't afford an extra $85 a month.
I mean, yeah, if we're scaling price based on speed connection, it should cost $8 a month.
Yeah. So, I mean, why even at $20 a month? All right, let's say that let's keep it reasonable. $35 a month, I think seems like a reasonable internet bill. If everyone can get 100 megabit service for $35 a month, I think there would be a lot more people adopting getting the internet. So there's this, because there's lots of people that just don't, right? They stick with this old. I literally have people that are still on dial-up, right? Because they don't want to deal with the higher bills, and they're happy enough with I only pay $15 a month to AOL every month. I know what my bill's going to be.
Even $15 a month for dial-up is insane.
Yeah, they don't know. They just I try to tell them. I really do. Or the DSL, CenturyLink. As much as I give them grief on this show, right, because they call themselves broadband and they're totally not, in my opinion, at least they have a reasonable price structure, sort of, if you don't take into account the actual throughput and speed and reliability. But if you were to look at, being able to have internet for $20 a month or $30 a month, at least that service is there for the people that can't afford to deal with the cable company. These guys need to start competing with each other. They really do. We need to have Google Fiber come in and just start knocking on doors. If you look at Dallas, or I'm sorry, what am I thinking about? Name just popped out of my head. Texas place.
Houston?
No.
Austin?
Austin. There you go.
Naming Texas cities here.
Yeah, there you go. Austin. So Austin had Google Fiber come in recently.
Yeah.
Within the last year. And suddenly, the cable companies, rather than they are now competing.
Yeah, they have no choice.
Right. So that they are either, well, first they tried just locking everybody into contracts They're like, oh, we'll just lock into a 3-year contract to keep Google Fiber from coming in. But that didn't work because people weren't willing to sign up for the contracts. But now they're offering gigabit connections over their existing infrastructure for, I don't know, $200 a month. So there's still twice the speed or twice the cost of Google.
But at least they can compete on speed.
Yeah, they're trying to compete on speed.
And the important part there is to note that they can, and they are.
Right.
So when they say they can't, it's a lie.
It's absolutely a lie. And if you've ever listened to like Comcast cancellation calls, you know that everything that they're saying is a lie, at least according to what I've seen.
You know that you're on the wrong side of history when the only thing keeping your business running is legislation and bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, that word too.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And so we complain a lot about internet companies not competing with each other. And I think that there needs to be some pressure, right? Google Fiber, from what I hear from people that I know in this industry, approached Tucson about this being a Google Fiber city. And the city council was not willing to hear it as far as allowing, basically, Cox has this contract with the city. It says that they're the only internet service provider that's allowed on the pole as far as that's non-DSL. They're the only ones allowed on the pole in the city limits. And Google is going around to each of these cities and saying, well, we need to be able to lease this space on the pole from the city directly. And apparently the city council shut it down.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
It makes my blood boil, honestly.
Well, we've got such wonderful leadership in this city. This is a Computer Guru Show. We'll be right back.
Your computer guru, Mike Swanson, is here to help you tame that beast of a machine. Join the chat right now at gurushow.com or call in. This is the Computer Guru Show on KVOY, The Voice. Mike Swanson, your computer guru, is just a click away. Listen and watch at gurushow.com. This is the Computer Guru Show on KVOI, The Voice.
Welcome back to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to chime in on the internet and the world of things. So, yeah, I think we're going to continue with a little bit of the Google stuff. We're going to talk about how these companies are using their money. Now, the company that effectively owns Google, right, because Google recently shifted to a holding company called Alphabet. That was last year sometime.
Which is kind of a strange move from my perspective, but it seems to have been a good one.
Seems to work out. I think they just wanted a way to, if you want my honest, sort of uneducated opinion here, I think that they are looking forward and dealing with monopoly-breaking lawsuits like what Microsoft and the Bell companies had to deal with years ago. So now they can break all of their individual companies out, like the search engine portion, into its own company versus the
Android,
the self-driving cars, or any of that other stuff.
And I mean, it makes sense because we're seeing daily Google is spreading into new industries. They're no longer just a search company, obviously.
So what's their worth right now?
Well, they just surpassed Apple as the wealthiest company in the world, and they currently have a worth of $570 billion to Apple's $535.
That's a lot of money. Now, what's interesting about Google, and you think about people, oh wow, my tablet said I said the word.
Oh yeah, you got the voice activation. Apparently,
the voice activation is on the tablet. So what's interesting about them is that if you compare them and Apple, you have a difference of what they do with the money, whereas Google spends billions of dollars per year dealing with things that are likely to never work, right? The moonshot projects, and there was a subsection of Google called Google X, and so that was all of these different projects that were probably never going to go anywhere. 5 or 6 years ago, somebody said, "Hey, let's do some self-driving cars," and everybody said, "Whatever, that'll never happen.
It's not going to pan out."
Right, and so now you have every major auto industry,
Scrambling to
Right.
figure this out.
trying to get in there. Now, right now, besides Google themselves, Tesla is pretty much the only ones that have a reasonable roadmap that are saying, well, we're going to have self-driving cars by this time.
And, there's lots of conjecture that Apple is getting into the car industry as well,
Yeah,
as of now.
and they may be. I think that there's a better sense of, or a more tangible sense of, at least Google's trying to do something good in the world.
Well, the way that I see it is it directly, it doesn't even have to be that they're doing it for good reasons. It's that they're doing it. So, Google risks money on these projects. Gmail was one of them. That was a Google Labs project for a while there.
Right.
And it pans out, So you can either be the guy who takes the risks or the guy who tries to catch up afterwards, the way that I see it. And as of right now, I mean, Apple has consistently, historically been the company that takes the risks. But now they're starting to become the guy who tries to catch up.
Yeah, they do a little bit of both. I think that they play it really safe on the technology side and not so safe on the design side.
And you can't even deny that Apple has some of the nicest designs of any product.
Right, they're beautiful. Everything about their products are really, really pretty. Feature set wise, though, it's one of my biggest complaints with the iPhones has always been, well, that feature's existed for years.
It's just fact that they're consistently behind the curve on mobile anyway.
But they're very refined in their.
When they do it, it works.
Right.
So
yeah.
Google puts it out a year beforehand and it's buggy and doesn't work, and then Apple fixes it and it works great.
Right. They wait for all the bugs to get worked out. They stuff it into a really sleek case, and there you go. Now, their iPhone sales are down for the 7, quite a bit actually. So there's a saturation point that I think Apple has to deal with.
Well, I think that the 2-year cycle is not long enough. Obviously they want it to be even shorter than that because they want to turn you over on a phone as quickly as possible.
Right.
But the only people who get new phones every 2 years that I know are the people who want to be on the bleeding edge. And
That's still a little scary to say, well, yeah, sales are really down. We only sold 70 million cell phones at $600 a piece.
Just imagine if the PC market was like that, if every 2 years you needed to buy a new computer.
Well, it is like that if you buy a cheap computer.
Yeah, that's true. But if you spend a little bit more money up front, your machine could last 5-6 years easy.
Right. Yeah, there's no reason that any person would need to replace their cell phone every 2 years like Apple wants you to do.
Unless, the new iOS update makes it really slow.
Well, we'll see how that lawsuit turns out and find out if that still happens. There might be a sudden 4-year turnaround on cell phones.
But, maybe that's why Microsoft is worth $70 billion and Apple's worth $530 billion.
That's true. Now, Microsoft never fully embraced, or they too late embraced the mobile market. Like their purchase of Nokia, which I thought was going to be a great purchase because Nokia phones are awesome. But so far they haven't been able to really implement anything that works.
I still think that they should turn the Nokia brand into a body armor company.
the most indestructible phones ever built. But back to the worth of Google. They managed to have this type of worth when they're doing things at little to no profit like Google Fiber and absolute loss of profit like the self-driving cars.
Yeah, stuff that has a 1% chance of panning out,
Right, or maybe even less. And some of the things I'm sure that they're funding with the full expectation that that particular project is not really going to go anywhere profitable, but what they learn from it is going to allow them to be profitable somewhere else.
That was the expectation with Android, because Android was originally an individual project by a guy who wanted to put it on cameras.
Yeah.
And Google was like, hey, that has potential.
Let's turn it into a phone.
Now it's the largest phone operating system in the history of anything.
And it even runs the things like the Tesla cars.
Yeah.
Now, and it's one of those things to think about as far as you've got companies with tons of money. Now, and everyone, we talk a lot on this show about Elon Musk and Tesla. Elon Musk's net worth is 10% of what Google's worth. Right? He's got a relatively minuscule amount of money compared to all of these other companies that we're talking about.
Well, even Zuckerberg has a staggering amount more money than Elon Musk does.
Right. So if you take those two people, you got the guy that runs Tesla and the guy that runs Facebook. Now, admittedly, Zuckerberg is he's on that plan with Bill Gates and a few other very rich people, Warren Buffett, of giving away all their 90% of their value or something like that over their lifetime. And that's great. I mean, I can appreciate that. But you've got people like Musk that's saying, I'm going to provide free internet to the world. I'm going to put people on Mars in the next 6 years. And we're going to have self-driving cars in 2 years. And we're going to do all of these things that are going to advance our technology and our ability to help others. And you look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates, because that's what started all of this when we were driving over here today, is, Bill Gates is worth a lot more money than Musk. What's he doing? Well, Bill Gates is doing a lot.
Well, as it turns out, Bill Gates is one of the best humans, pretty much. He saved millions of people's lives. He just does it kind of behind the scenes, and most people don't know about it.
Yeah, there was some sort of, some number that I had saw during one of his AMAs. And, Bill Gates has saved more people from dying. It's some crazy thing. He saved more people from dying from common things than of all the people that have died from common things in the past.
Right.
In total. In, forever. And it's...
I mean, he's definitely doing noble work, and he's needed, The reason I'm such an Elon Musk fanboy right now is because, I wrote an article about him on GuruShow.com a while back called The Last True Dreamer.
Right.
And I truly believe that about Elon Musk. He's the guy who's pointing at the moon and saying, I'm going there. Or Mars. He's the guy who's saying, oh, the problem right now with our society is that we're dependent on energy sources that are going to run out eventually, no matter what side of that argument you're on. So the answer is solar. So let's do that. I need solar in order to send people to Mars, so here's a solar company.
I need giant batteries everything that he does is kind of tied together with a common vision and common goal. So, yes, we need solar power, so Solar City was started.
Yeah.
And if you go anywhere near Davis-Monthan, if you've driven around there, that's a Solar City installation. And there are just fields of solar panels, and it's a beautiful thing to see if you're into the technology part of it.
And Solar City's literally made it to where it's cheaper to have their technology than your electric bill. They've said, we'll get an average of your electric bill, and we guarantee you that your price will be lower than that.
Yep. So and then he said, well, okay, I want to be able to charge my car, so let's build a battery plant. Let's build special types of batteries. Let's invent all of this technology to make sure that you can have an electric car. And, well, you got solar panels on your house. That solar panels charge a battery during the day when you're not there. The house runs on batteries at night. That makes your bill even cheaper. Charge your car off of the sun.
So he's building this ecosystem that is so futuristic that, we're almost not ready for it yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And this is all feeding into SpaceX, which is going to get us to Mars. I really do believe that SpaceX will put the first person on Mars.
Think so?
Yeah. If it's not them directly, they're going to be fueling the rockets. They're going to be providing the rockets.
Yeah, well, they're going to make that impossible drive, the ion drive work. The inertia drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're sorry about that. We'll be right back.
Whether you're dealing with hardware installation or, heaven forbid, a virus,
No!
Mike Swanson is answering all your questions one by one. So call in or chat in with yours. The website, gurushow.com. Tune in, click in, and kick back. This is the Computer Guru Show on AM 1030 KVOY The Voice. Mike Swanson, your computer guru, is just a click away. Listen and watch at gurushow.com. This is the Computer Guru Show.
So this is that part of the show where we decide that we're going to save you a bunch of money. So you've managed to listen to me ramble on for 50 minutes, 42 minutes.
And now you get some savings.
And then you get my apology, which is a discount for services.
It's a good apology.
I'm so sorry you had to listen to me talk about SpaceX and CenturyLink and all of these things. And so here's my apology. We're doing a block sale this week. So we're going to do 10% off of all blocks. If you don't know what a block is, you should probably give us a call at the shop, 304-8300. It's basically you buy some time that you're going to use in the future, and we give you a discount for doing the block, and on top of which, an extra 10% today. So if you call up and you say, well, you know what, I heard on the radio show that I get 10% off, then you will get 10% off.
In addition to the savings you get by buying prepaid time anyway.
Right. And it's already a 30% savings on average as far as, than buying single hours. So, yeah, you get a decent deal there.
You know, we do web blocks too. And so if your website needs some love, you can do that. Save some money.
Yes. And it turns out that if you were even thinking about it, your website does need some love.
Yeah.
It does. It needs an update. I haven't even looked at it yet. I can tell.
We also do these cool things that we kind of came up with recently called Express websites, which are meant to be great-looking websites that are functional and are built on good systems for people who just need a really quick, informational website.
Yeah, if it's just a sort of a basic site with not a whole lot of functionality, there's lots of people out there that have these really not so great websites. It's just like, hey, this is who I am. All right, it doesn't do anything special other than say who you are. But even those, they're not pretty, and they don't really fully express who you are. This is what the Express site was designed to deal with. We saw some single-page designs by other companies that were charging 3 or 4 times what we're charging for Expresses, for the Express websites, and figured, you know what, we can do this for way less, and we can do it faster.
Yeah, they really are Express, assuming that, you've got all of your content and stuff, and we can get it going as fast as possible. We average anywhere from a week to 2 weeks at most to build these sites and get them launched. So,
yeah.
as opposed to a full site, which can take up to 2 to 3 months, depending on what you're doing.
So if you are interested in improving your web presence, or just fixing up a site that is broken, or even if it's not broken, you just want it to be nicer, you give us a call, 304-8300. We'll see what we can do to help you out. We also do SEO packages, and we don't do it like the other people. It's not voodoo. There's actually real work involved.
We won't get you blacklisted.
Right. You won't get blacklisted. You won't suffer in any way.
And you'll understand the process as well.
Yeah, because one of the things that we hear a lot is, they do their research on SEO and they just don't get it. And the way that we deal with that is we tell you exactly what we're going to do, how it's going to work, and what we expect your results are going to be, and there you are. Now, we're dealing with search engines, so there's always a little bit of weirdness, but for the most part, we're pretty good at hitting the goals.
And we make it our job to know about that stuff because it does get confusing.
It certainly does. So, you have all kinds of different options. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about before we start doing the wrap-up here is that, like earlier we mentioned in the show, there's the Guru Protection Services, the GPS services. Now, for the residential side, those are nice and cheap. Basically, if you sign up for GPS, you're going to pay a monthly fee for your computer. And, one of the things that people bring their machines in most often for is virus infections. So, you'll, on average, people will get 2 viruses a year. And the cost on that's going to be a little over $300 to get that fixed, twice. Well, the GPS service is less than that. And if you get an infection, we will clean it for free. That's just how that works. So you just pay $20 a month. We install all of the software that you need. We help you manage your Windows updates. We make sure that your antivirus is our antivirus and it's good and keeps you safe. And then you also get a discount if you have to bring your computer in for any other reason. So if you have like a hard drive failure or anything like that, you get a discount. So it's worth looking into. So give us a call at 304-8300 to ask about the GPS services. We'll happily explain them to you.
You really should be on it.
And if you want, you can just send us an email, radio@azcomputerguru.com, and I will help you out with that. All right. They waited till the last minute. Let's see if we can squeeze in 2 of them here. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Real quickly, it seems like I heard somewhere, I'm putting an audio interface, external USB device, and I tried to run the install and it was kind of funky. And the question is this: I think I heard somewhere that if you put the USB in before you have the driver properly installed, sometimes that creates problems, and you should install the driver before you put the device onto the machine. Is that true? Or
100%
no?
of the time with XP, about 50% of the time with 7, and I don't know, maybe 20 or 30% of the time with Windows 10.
It's 7, so I do need to worry about that.
A little bit. Well, so it's just an audio
Any way
driver?
to find out if it's in there, the driver is installed? The install just was really funky. It said it was going to do these things, put the driver in, give me a control panel. I've never seen the control panel,
Right.
and the interface. I mean, the setup was really very problematic in other ways. What do I do, if anything?
I would follow the instructions usually on the disk. So do in that particular case where you're dealing with an audio driver or any type of input-output stuff with a USB, then yeah, do the disk first. Then
I don't have a disk. They sent me to their website.
no, yeah, we'll download
and
their
I
software.
ran their website, and that's where my problems were.
Well,
But anyway, I'll try again. I'll see if I can get them to respond and redo the setup and see what happens. Thanks
Yep.
very much. I
And-
appreciate it.
you can always schedule a remote with us to help you also. Let's go ahead and talk to Nick. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Hi. Is it time to go to Windows 10?
About another month and a half.
About a month and a half.
What version of Windows do you have now?
7?
Yeah, so 7, you're going to wait in about another month. And if you're on Windows 8, you're going to do it now.
No, I have Windows 7 on both machines.
Okay, so yeah, wait another month or so.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for the call. And unfortunately, you know, Bill called too late in the show for me to give him a real decent answer. But download the software, run it as the administrator, see if that helps you out, Bill. We'll see if that can do it. Otherwise, give us a call. 5-minute phone calls are free at the shop. So if you want to call and just ask questions, 304-8300. If we can help you out in 5 minutes, it costs you nothing. There you go. So once again, thanks to our sponsors, which are going to be Perfection Auto Works. You can visit their website, perfectionautoworks.com. And Desert Pro Commercial Cleaning. They support us on Patreon, which you can too. Patreon.com/Guru Show. You can donate, donate as little as $1 a month. And I'm choking over here. And it helps us keep the show on the air. We actually pay for this show out of pocket, so it's not like we get paid to be here, which seems to be this common myth. They're like, how much does a radio station pay to do that? Nothing. We pay them. So you have the opportunity to help us keep the show on the air by going to patreon.com/Guru Show. Desert Pro Commercial Cleaning does that for us, and they don't cut corners, they clean corners. That's their slogan. They clean the East Side office at 64 North Harrison if you want to see what a clean, beautiful office is done by them looks like. And you also get a chance to see us. So thanks very much for listening to the show this week. We very much appreciate it, and we will see you next week.
I say I want